If you're still addicted to eating processed food, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you, and it's not your fault. You've unfortunately been set up to fail by scientists and greedy corporations whose whole purpose is to exploit and make profit from you. Like, bro, who's more likely to win? A $1 billion corporation or your willpower? I know, it's not fair at all, is it? But I am actually here to say that you can break free of this addiction. You can lead a more healthier, more successful life without this addiction holding you back. Like, I've already done it myself, which means you can genuinely do it too. Like, I remember how badly I was addicted and how fucked processed food made my life. I remember a specific time in my life that actually points this out very well. So back in high school, 2018, I remember we just finished up sports class and my mate forgot his jacket. He left his jacket, so being the good friend, good person that I am, I grabbed his jacket and gave it back to him. What do you think his reaction was? Keep in mind, we just finished sports class. At this point in my life, I was fat. I was like 20 kilos overweight. What do you think his reaction was? It wasn't a good one. He looked at me with those eyes. You know, those eyes of just disgust, of just like, why are you doing this? Of just disappointment. He looked at me with those eyes and it's just like, don't fucking touch my jacket. You disgusting slob. Like, he didn't specifically say that, but those eyes are enough to actually, those eyes, you can tell exactly what he's thinking. And this made me realize something and kind of got me pissed off. I'm treated like this. I'm treated poorly because I'm overweight, just because of the way I look. And it's just like, that's so fucked up and I don't want to live like that. Then that also led me to another realization. Why? It was my diet. All of the food I was consuming fucked me up. It led me on a cycle of just... Okay. First of all, my diet was noodles, ice cream, cookies. I'd get home from school and I'd either have noodles or I'd have an Up and Go and a bunch of cookies. Fucking delicious. Loved it. But it turned me into a blob. And it affected other areas of my life in a big fucking way. Anyway, that was my diet. And now, obviously from that story I told you before, I wasn't treated the best. I was bullied per se. I would get bullied at school for being fat. I'd come home, comfort eat. I'd use binge eating, the junk food, processed food as a coping mechanism. And then it would like reinforce the loop of me being fat. And then I'd get bullied again. And then I'd go cope again. It's just like a nice, like, giant loop. Which at one point it got so bad that was when I had to change. And that was my whole journey of losing weight. But anyway, that's a story for another time. And not just this like emotional fucked up loop that I was in. It caused other problems in my life as well. Like, I'd be in class, I'd be wanting to learn, and then my brain would just be off elsewhere. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. I couldn't form a cohesive, like, thought process. There's no thoughts in this head. The only thought I was thinking was about what fucking video games I was playing. I was playing Fortnite or Minecraft at the time. And that was what my mind was concerned about. It wasn't even present. And it's just like, I only realize now in hindsight that was because of my fucked diet. Because now my brain is laser focused and it's fucking great. Now, I want to ask you a question. What's the deepest, most fundamental need for us human beings? Spoiler alert, it's to feel loved and accepted. And you know what eating ultra-processed food does? It makes those feelings of love and acceptance, it keeps it at an arm's reach. It makes it feel like it's just tragically out of reach from you. Like, now, I want you to imagine two people. One person on a processed food diet, that's all he fucking eats. And then the next person, he eats a clean diet with no processed foods. Who do you think leads a more happy, successful life, full of these feelings of abundance, joy, love, acceptance? And I want you to ask yourself why. Why is that? It's just something to think about while I continue on with the rest of the video. Yap. Like, you already know the obvious downsides to eating this way. You already know low energy, you're going to be tired, your health is going to be fucked, your brain's going to be fucked. You already know this. But I want you to actually look at it from a different angle. I want you to look at it from second order consequences. When you do one thing, there are like direct consequences of doing the thing, and then as a result, there are even more consequences down the line. No one thinks in terms of like the degree behind it. It's like if you buy a PlayStation, what's going to be the second order consequences of that? Your time is going to be spent playing the PlayStation because you want to get value out of what you spent your money on. The second order consequences of buying a PlayStation is now your time is going to be spent playing the PlayStation because of biases like the sunk cost fallacy. You've spent money on it, you better get your value for it. And it's like, okay, one piece of junk food now, it's not going to lead to much, but what's it going to lead to in a year down the line? 2, 3, 4, 5. You might end up overweight. You might lose your job because your brain's fucked, you can't think, and your performance has just suffered, so you're now laid off. You're now suffering financially. Or, well, your health's fucked. You're in the hospital. You develop cancer. All because of carcinogenic food that you're currently eating, which is the processed food. It's a surprise, but some of the fucking food literally causes cancer. And on top of these two, you're likely to have poor relationships. Your dating opportunities, they're going to go down the gutter. You're going to be less attractive. You're not going to attract the mate you're looking for. Or if you do have opportunities, you're going to be so much less attractive to them. Let's just face it. That's the objective truth. You're going to be less attractive when you're on this diet. You might not feel like it now, but a few years down the line, it's going to add up. And it's not just like massive things in your life, like what I just described. Tiny micro decisions that you actually make can have a massive like ripple effect, a big like domino effect. You make one bad decision and then it just keeps knocking it over and then it just keeps fucking going on. Like one small bad decision just leads to a multitude of worse and worse and worse decisions that just cascade into just further like negativity just because of one small decision, one small bad decision. It's like, imagine one day you're going to have the most productive day ever. You have so much work to do. You've work to do, you want to go to the gym, and then you want to work on your side hustle. But you decide, oh yeah, I'm going to get Macca's for lunch. Okay, you feel sluggish, tired, you get home, you don't want to work. You don't want to go to the gym, so you don't. And now as a result of not going to the gym, you, scroll on Instagram instead, because that's all your brain can currently handle. And then you feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to go work on my side hustle, like I said I would. And then you get your laptop out, you go to work, and then what happens? You just can't. Your brain's fucked. You can't think. And then that deviates again. You just go jerk off instead. And now what's happened? Your entire day has been derailed because of one cause. You ate Macca's. If you didn't eat Macca's, none of this like rippling effect would have happened. Can you see how one bad decision absolutely fucks up your day? And it's like this with morning routines as well. Some people wake up and just go straight to their phone and scroll. And it's just like, how are you going to set up any semblance of a good day, a good productive day, when that's the first thing you do? You fuck your brain, you fuck your dopamine receptors, and it's just, why? I guess people don't understand what they don't understand, that's fucking up their life. But now that you understand, one bad decision leads to many decisions that just fuck up your life. Before we get started now on the 2 tips, I want to reiterate that it isn't your fault that you're like this. Big corporations, fucking scientists, they have screwed you over. But I now need you to take responsibility. It wasn't your fault that it happened to you in the first place, but now it's your responsibility to take control and not let these corporations win. You're not going to let them fucking win, are you? You're not going to let them have control over your life. No, fuck that. So take responsibility and start implementing the tips that I'm going to say. Tip number 1 is to understand your deep, unmet emotional needs and work to fill the void. Look, likely binge eating, emotional eating, processed foods, All of these are like the symptom of a far bigger unmet need. I know for me, it was as well. So I want you to look at your life objectively. Actually, there's a good model that I like to use. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have, like, I think I'm going to pop an image up on the screen right now if I don't forget, sorry. At like tier 1, if we don't have this need, then nothing else matters. If we don't have, I think it's called safety. Like, we're homeless, we don't have food, we don't have water, we don't have shelter. Like, those are our base physiological needs. If they're not met, we're not going to worry about anything else later in the table. Like, I think tier 5 is like self-actualization, where we're working on our purpose and all that type of stuff. We're not going to be worrying about our purpose if we're homeless, for example. And I want you to figure out at what level are you missing out on? Because as of right now, I know that one of my emotional needs, per se, is unmet. I don't have a loving relationship. I don't have the relationship with the opposite sex, and that's something I'm working towards. Again, that deep need for love that I was talking about before. If you don't have things like that in your life, if you aren't getting that from yourself, from a relationship, from your parents, you're going to seek vices, coping mechanisms to replace that unmet need. And a lot of the time, comfort eating, binge eating, processed foods, that will usually be what's replaced. And that was just one example. I need you to be completely honest with yourself right now. What, like, unmet need is binge eating? Is that, like, being for you? I know this is getting pretty deep, and honestly, it is. It is quite hard to look at yourself objectively and strip away, like, your ego and realize, what am I actually missing? It is hard to take an objective look at yourself. I completely get you there. But to make real change, that is, I'd say it's a fundamental thing of quitting addictions. A lot of addictions are literally just coping mechanisms for unmet emotional needs. So if you figure out and work towards the unmet emotional need, the coping mechanism disappears as a byproduct. And then there's a way to do this. It's called shadow work. It's basically, so actually first, we have unconscious parts of ourselves that we have yet to actually integrate. We have, like, trauma. We have repressed shit from our childhood that we're just holding on to, that just leaches through as negative emotions. When we project insecurities in other people, like, I know, I've done this so much in my life. I've projected many times. So the first time I realized I was doing this, I was on a holiday with a few mates, and one of my mates was constantly pissing me off. Everything he was saying made me just want to fucking right hook him. But towards the end of the holiday, and when I got home, I realized I was just projecting insecurities. Small little comments was like impacting insecurities I had in myself, and then I was blaming my friend for my insecurities. And integrating these, like, insecurities that you're projecting on other people is, I'd say it's essential, because you're going to have better relationships with other people. You're going to live a more, like, fulfilled, happy life. Your peace of mind is going to feel so much better. I can attest to that. Like, god damn, everything feels so much better up in here. You have to experience it once in your life to actually, like, get what I'm saying. And I hope you can take a good, long look at yourself. Google shadow work. There are prompts to journal, and that's a whole, like, realm to delve into. Basically, we have unprocessed emotions, traumas, insecurities in ourselves that we really don't want to look at, and then we manifest it and project it onto other people, and then on top of projecting it onto other people, we now have coping mechanisms to actually hide from these, like, unprocessed emotions. And that is binge eating, comfort eating, processed foods. That is the addictions. So shadow work on yourself and understand your unmet emotional needs. I know that was deep. Now here's an actual strategy to quit the addiction that's more, like, physical, that you can actually do. Shadow work is something you want to work towards over the long term. You don't want to do it like one time and then forget. You want to be constantly working towards it. But I'll now give you an actual physical thing that makes quitting the addiction easier. So I would first have to explain progressive overload in the gym. Basically, when we're in the gym, to get like the main mechanism for getting stronger in the gym is progressive overload. Basically, you wouldn't get a beginner in the gym to lift 140 kilos on bench press. You get them at 20 kilos. And then each week you'd progress them slightly. 22.5, 50. You do 6 reps, then 7 reps, 8 reps. Slowly increasing the challenge over time so that your muscles can actually adapt. That's basically what progressive overload is. Now, how do you think we would use that? Use that concept to break bad habits, to break the addiction. How do you think you would use it? Like, I know how I would use it is, say my most eaten, like worst food for me that's impacting my life the worst is noodles. I eat noodles 7 days a week. Every day, I love it. But it's so bad for me. It fucks me up. And I want to begin eating healthier. I'm not going to completely cut out noodles at once. It's not going to work very well. Your body is going to crave that and it's just not going to go well. If you've ever tried to quit anything cold turkey, you know this as well. So what would you do? Maybe eat noodles 5 times a week. You'd make the effort to say, okay, I'm going to work towards quitting noodles now. Instead of 7, I'm going to go to 6. The first week of change, you're just going to eat it 6 times a week. And then week 2, 5 times. Week 3, 4 times. And then by like week 6, 7, you've eaten it once a week. Then week 8, 0. And since your body has now slowly adapted over time, it's effortless. And you've quit the most like harmful food without any of the obvious like, when trying to quit anything that you've done over a long period of time, it is very hard. Change, it's fucking hard for everyone, not just you, not just me. Everyone finds change hard. And to do that, make it slow, autistically drag it out over a long period of time so that your body can actually slowly adapt. That's how you make these changes a lot better, not just quitting it all at once. So yeah, those are my 2 tips. Figure out your unmet emotional needs and work on them, and then use progressive overload to break whatever habit and use that in your own life as however you see fit. Now, before you leave, because the video's over, I want you to ask or write down in the comments, what's one thing you're currently grateful for? Gratitude is an amazing habit to do and will make you feel much more receptive to life itself. It's just a good fucking habit. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Like and sub, helps me out a lot. Take care, man. Bye.